The Indiana Fever just got absolutely demolished in the second half again, and head coach Stephanie White's post-game comments might have just sealed her fate. But before we dive into what could be the beginning of the end for White's tenure in Indiana, make sure to hit that like button if you think the Fever deserve better, and subscribe for all the latest WNBA drama because trust me, this situation is about to get a whole lot messier. Picture this. Your team is up 46-42 at halftime against the defending champion New York Liberty. You've got momentum, the crowd's behind you, and everything's clicking. Then the second half starts and it's like someone replaced your professional basketball team with a middle school squad that just discovered what a basketball looks like. 56-38 in the second half. That's not just losing, that's getting your lunch money taken and then being stuffed in a locker. And this isn't just a one-time thing. This is becoming Stephanie White's signature move, the patented second-half collapse that's more predictable than a Marvel movie having a post-credits scene. It's happening so often that Vegas should start taking bets on exactly when, in the third quarter, the Fever will completely forget how to play basketball. But here's where things get really spicy. After the game, when asked about the team's struggles and their preseason billing as contenders, Stephanie White gave an answer that should have every Fever fan reaching for their pitchforks. She literally said, and I quote, "That's for everybody else to discuss whether we were really ready to be a contender or not. Hold up. Full stop. Did the head coach of a professional basketball team just say it's not her job to set expectation? That's like a pilot saying, it's not for me to discuss whether we're ready to fly this plane. Ma'am, that is literally your entire job. You're supposed to be the one setting the tone, building the culture, and telling your team they can compete with anyone. But wait, it gets worse. White then went on to deliver what might be the most mind-numbingly stupid take in WNBA coaching history. She said, "There's no substitute for experience." Really? No substitute? So talent doesn't matter? Heart doesn't matter? The ability to actually, put the ball in the basket doesn't matter? This obsession with experience is exactly why the Fever's roster looks like a retirement home mixed with a daycare center. They went out and got Damiris Dantas, who's been in the league since the Stone Age and contributes about as much as a traffic cone on defense. They signed Sydney Colson, whose main contribution seems to be taking up 14 minutes that could go to literally anyone else. And don't even get me started on the Dana Evans fiasco. That woman straight up finessed the Fever out of a paycheck and dipped faster than someone leaving a bad Tinder date. Meanwhile, you've got young talent rotting on the bench. Victoria Saxton didn't even see the floor last night. Against a big New York team where you could use her size and athleticism, she's sitting there in street clothes wondering if she accidentally showed up to the wrong arena. Grace Berger gets DNPs like they're going out of style, despite showing flashes of brilliance whenever she actually gets minutes. The rotations are more confusing than trying to understand the plot of Inception after 3 margaritas. Kelsey Mitchell drops 29 points, absolutely cooking the Liberty defense. And where is she at the start of the fourth quarter when you need to maintain momentum? On the bench. Because apparently in Stephanie White's world, riding the hot hand is less important than sticking to some predetermined rotation that she probably wrote on a napkin during pregame warmups. And let's talk about how she's using the players she does put on the court. Natasha Howard thinks she's Magic Johnson reincarnated, bringing the ball up coast to coast like she's not a 33-year-old forward who moves like she's wearing ankle weights. The woman is out there playing hero ball when she should be setting screens and playing within the system. But does White rein her in? Of course not. Because experience, right? Meanwhile, Aliyah Boston is out there putting up 15 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists, basically doing everything short of selling popcorn at halftime, and she's getting zero help from the coaching staff. Boston's turnovers are high because she's being asked to be a point center, which is like asking a fish to climb a tree. Sure, with enough effort it might happen, but why are we making it so difficult? The real kicker is that White keeps talking about disruption in rotations and players playing out of position because of injuries. But let's be real here. Other than Sophie Cunningham missing a few games and Caitlin Clark's current situation, this roster has been pretty stable. This isn't some massive injury crisis like she's making it out to be. She's had time to figure out rotations, develop chemistry, and create a system that works. Instead, we're watching the same movie every night. Decent first half, complete meltdown in the second half, post-game excuses that would make a politician jealous. You know what's really frustrating? We watched Christie Sides deal with way more adversity last season. She had a roster held together with duct tape and prayers, yet somehow managed to get them to the playoffs and make them competitive. Sure, she had her flaws. We all remember the questionable timeout usage and some head-scratching substitutions, but at least she took responsibility. At least she showed fight. At least she didn't throw her hands up and basically say, "Well, what did you expect?" White's entire minute and 30-second response after the game was a masterclass in deflection. She blamed the players' shot selection, their communication, their experience level, everything except her own coaching. It's like watching someone crash a car and then blame the road, the weather, other drivers, the car manufacturer, and probably the alignment of Mercury in retrograde before admitting they might have been texting while driving. The truth is, Stephanie White is in way over her head, and it's becoming more obvious with each game. She got this job based on her past reputation and some nostalgic connection to Indiana, not because she's shown any recent evidence of being a championship-caliber coach. Her last head coaching stint ended with her stepping away from coaching, which in professional sports speak usually means, "We were about to fire you, but we're letting you save face." And here's what really grinds my gears. This team has legitimate talent. When Caitlin Clark is healthy, she's a walking highlight reel who can change the entire complexion of a game. Aliyah Boston is developing into one of the best young bigs in the league. Kelsey Mitchell, when used properly, is an elite shooting guard who can get buckets against anyone. Sophie Cunningham came out and dropped 15 points on 5 of 8 from 3 last night. The pieces are there. But instead of maximizing this talent, White is stuck in some outdated mindset where experience trumps everything else. It's like she's coaching in 1995 when the game was slower and veteran savvy could overcome athletic limitations. Newsflash, this is 2025. The game has evolved. Teams are running and gunning, switching everything on defense and playing positionless basketball. You can't win with a coach who thinks having a 35-year-old bench warmer is more valuable than a hungry 22-year-old who can actually contribute. The saddest part is watching how this is affecting the players. You can see the frustration on their faces during these second-half collapses. They know they're better than this. They know they should be competing for championships, not getting blown out after halftime like clockwork. But when your coach comes out and basically says, "Well, maybe we're not actually that good," what are you supposed to think? This is where the front office needs to step in. I don't care if it's only been part of one season. I don't care if it makes the organization look bad. Sometimes you have to admit you made a mistake and correct it before it gets worse. The Phoenix Mercury didn't wait around when they realized their coaching situation wasn't working. The Chicago Sky made changes when necessary. The Fever need to stop being so conservative and recognize that this experiment has failed. Because here's the thing, Caitlin Clark isn't going to be young forever. Aliyah Boston's rookie contract won't last forever. This window of opportunity to build something special is finite, and every game wasted under incompetent coaching is a game you're not getting back. You think Caitlin Clark wants to spend her prime years playing for a coach who thinks experience is more important than talent? You think free agents are going to want to come to Indiana when they see this dysfunction? The time for patience is over. The time for wait and see has passed. When your coach goes on record, basically shrugging her shoulders and saying championship aspirations aren't her problem, she's told you everything you need to know. She's not the right person for this job. She never was. And the sooner the Fever organization realizes this, the sooner they can start actually building toward the championship that their talent deserves. Look, I know some people are worried about Caitlin Clark getting labeled as a coach killer if White gets fired. But you know what? Who cares? Michael Jordan was a coach killer. Kobe Bryant was a coach killer. LeBron James is basically a coaching serial killer at this point. You know why? Because great players demand great coaching, and they don't have time to waste on people who can't do the job. The Fever have a decision to make. They can either continue down this path of mediocrity, watching second-half collapse after second-half collapse, while their coach makes excuses about experience and rotations. Or they can make the tough decision, admit their mistake, and find someone who actually believes this team can win a championship. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's not about being nice. It's not about giving someone time to figure it out. It's about winning. And right now, Stephanie White has shown zero evidence that she knows how to do that at this level. The clock is ticking, Indiana. Your franchise player is watching, your fans are watching, the entire league is watching. The question is, are you going to do something about it? Or are you going to let another season slip away while your coach talks about how experience is the only thing that matters? If you agree that the Fever need to make a change, drop a comment below and let me know who you think should be the next coach. Should they bring Christie Sides back? Should they go after a big name? Or should they try to find the next up-and-coming coaching star? And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because the way things are going, there's going to be a lot more drama coming out of Indiana before this season is over.